Good morning, all of you. So my name is Satyaprakash, and I was supposed to be in the class yesterday also, but because of some reason I could not attend the class. Before ma'am will start today's class, I like to tell you something about the course structure. Basically, what kind of time duration and what kind of structure we are going to follow in this particular course. Okay. To start with, you see that this year PSIR results have been quite good, and the top rank from PSIR optional is rank 6 this year. Okay, there have been total of 115 selections in PSIR from our institute, and I believe that that is the final number also. Okay, but if you find anybody other than that also, हो सकते हैं एक दो लोग और होंगे, but mostly 115 selection from PSIR. It is a safe selection. If total number of selection is 1016, so 115, it is a safe selection for one particular optional. Okay. Now, somehow targeting above 300 is quite possible in PSIR optional. This year we have seen that across optional there has been somewhat suppression of the marks. This year the country highest is 304, Swati Sharma rank 17. Last year it was 313, Ishita Kishore rank 1. Before that it was Utkarsh Dwivedi rank 5, 314. Okay. So in the present scenario, anything above 270 is quite good. If you are crossing 300, nothing like that. So when you are preparing political science optional, of course you need to have some kind of target in the mind कि किस range में you should be scoring. So let us keep the target above 280, because above 280, if you're crossing 300, that may happen, that may not happen also. But we this year we have selections within 100 rank जिनके pol science में let us say 260 265 आए and they have been selected as such. Okay. If you have seen the results this year, somehow the essay paper has also been suppressed in the marks. Earlier it was a trend that you can get easily 134 तक आप enter कर जाते थे. 130s was something. If you are getting an essay, that used to be considered as a good marks. This year, if you are entering 130s, it is an exceptional mark, because many people within 100 rank, they have got less than 100 in the essay paper. So such kind of changes UPSC keeps on doing. Nothing to be surprised about. कभी ethics को suppress किया जाता है. Sometimes GS paper 3, GS paper 2. In fact, this year GS paper 2 has scored well. And one of our students ranked 15, Kunal Rastogi. He has got 134 in general studies, which is one of the country highest. The country highest is 136 in general studies too. And being from political science optional, you will have some kind of advantage in general studies paper 2, because the polity part and the international relation part will be having a greater overlap with what you are going to study here in political science optional. Okay. Now you have the syllabus with you. I think it was given yesterday. Now, one thing keep in mind that you have to stick to the syllabus. Don't even think of going beyond syllabus. Reason one, that syllabus itself is quite big. PSIR syllabus is quite big. It's not like anthropology or sociology. It's a huge syllabus. And the way we conduct the classes और भी ज़्यादा बड़ा लगेगा, because not a single part of the syllabus will be left like that. And the reason behind doing such kind of comprehensive classes is that when you give the mains paper, you cannot say कि ये syllabus, ये question copy से बाहर आया. It will be there in the notes. It may be 7 notes, 8 notes, whatever, notebooks. But we can assure you that the question will be from the notes itself. Unlike other optional wherein students, when they write the mains paper, they come out and they say कि पता नहीं कहाँ से question पूछा गया था. And this has been happening consistently after 2013, जब pattern थोड़ा सा change किया गया था. And this is also the reason why the selection with PSIR optional from our institute has been consistent. Time definitely लगता है, मैम ने कल बताया होगा आपको कि we take time. It is much easier for you, for us, to finish the syllabus in 5 months and start another batch, because we stop the admissions. ठीक है, हमारे लिए कमर्शियली बेनिफिशियल होगा, बट देन अल्टीमेटली इट विल शो इन आवर रिजल्ट्स, तो सिलेक्शंस नहीं होंगे. We meet students who again it may be some kind of negative talk, but just to give you an analysis, who have done the classes somewhere else, जिन्होंने 5 months में no doubt syllabus खत्म कर दिया, but now they are coming and buying the notes which we provide as postal correspondence, and they are trying to mix that notes, and क्योंकि वहां पे की नोट्स दे दिया गया, डिक्टेट नहीं करवाया गया कि डिक्टेशन इज अ बोरिंग थिंग, बट दिस यूपीएससी एग्जाम इज अ बोरिंग एग्जामिनेशन. Otherwise फिर ओलंपियाड में जाओ ना, there's much more innovative things to do. Here you have to, it is a boring examination. Okay, so dictation, when you write notes in your copies, then that gets integrated in your mind. जब आप notes पढ़ेंगे, classes खत्म हो जाएंगे, you will forget everything, you will forget our faces also, but one thing that will remain you connected, that will keep you connected with the concept is your notes. तो जब आप notes पढ़ते हैं, then you connect with the context of the class, so the things get settled in the muscle. हमारे लिए बहुत आसान है, we can give you printed material. कितना टाइम लगता है, कहीं से कॉपी करके पेस्ट कर दिया, इतना बुकलेट बना के आपको दे दिया. बट यदि आपको प्रिंटेड मटेरियल ही पढ़ना था, there are so many books available. Why would you subscribe to a course which is quite costly also? So the dictated notes, they are somewhat essential things, I would say. There are people who, because of affordability or maybe because they are working, they cannot join the classes. They buy the notes and they are just reading the notes and qualifying, and many of them are in top 100 this year also. So if, let us say, printed thing is so much supreme, then why would anybody read notes written by somebody else? जो notes हम postal correspondence में देते हैं, that is written by some student in the class itself. But because people find that, first of all, those notes are very much targeted to the UPSC syllabus. Now you have the syllabus of paper 2. Now entire paper 2, this one, you cannot find a single book wherein you will find everything. यदि आप बायलैटरल रिलेशन के लिए बेस्ट बुक के लिए जाते हैं, रीड बुक रिटन बाय जयशंकर, बाय एम्बेसडर्स, बट दे आर नॉट राइटिंग फॉर यूपीएससी सिलेबस, कि कोई स्टूडेंट है जो यूपीएससी देने वाला है, सो विल राइट. सो दैट विल बी डेफिनेटली अ वेरी स्कॉलरली बुक, बट ultimately you require some kind of focus material. So the notes are essential. When you are making those notes, be mindful of the class when you are writing, and then that is going to help you. So dictation wala part rahega. The syllabus is here with you. Keep restricted to the syllabus itself. 1A, ma'am has started with 1A, Western political thought, right? This paper 1B, Indian government and politics, I will take along with the first 3 topics of paper 2A, comparative politics and politics of representation. Now, if I talk about the conduct of the class, there will be 6 days of lectures in every week, but keep the slot of 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. free, because we may have 7 days also. ठीक है, so इस slot को आपको free रखना है. Normally it is 6 days, and normally the division of the lecture is 4+2. 4 days ma'am, 2-day mind lecture. Ma'am has started with Western political thought. I will start with the topic of Indian government and politics. ठीक है. The mode of lecture is that we first explain in the class, then dictation happens. Handouts, if required, they are given. For example, it may be, ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि towards the end also कोई भी handout न दिया जाए. But if there's a factual topic, let us say if there's a factual topic, WTSU related कुछ facts है, then that will be given to you. Otherwise, handouts minimum. Video lectures will be given for 2 topics, I believe. Indian political thought. There are 10 lectures of Indian political thought that will be given to you in the video format on the mobile app. Since it is a static concept, and Indian political thought is not that important as the Western political thought. Western political thought is the base of political science, और इसीलिए उसमें प्रोपोर्शनेटली आपके करीब 50 लेक्चर्स तो वेस्टर्न पॉलिटिकल या फिर 40 लेक्चर्स तो वेस्टर्न पॉलिटिकल थॉट में चले जाते हैं. द एंटायर 1A will take somewhere around 90 lectures, जिसमें वेस्टर्न पॉलिटिकल थॉट forms the base of it. Doubts of the classroom students, you will have to raise your hands, and the mic will reach to you. Ask the doubt. When you are asking the doubt, make sure that it is a doubt, not your opinion. ठीक है, because ये political science है, and it's not botany or it's not chemistry. कि उस पर डिबेट नहीं हो सकता, यहाँ हर चीज़ पे डिबेट होता है। एंड स्पेशली इन सम ऑफ द टॉपिक्स दैट आई विल टेक, इंडियन गवर्नमेंट एंड पॉलिटिक्स, अभी तो रिसेंट इलेक्शन हुआ है, and most probably I'll start with the party system only. So when you are reading party system, you don't have to read from the perspective of a voter. You have to read it from the perspective of somebody who is studying politics. That means analyzing politics. So doubts definitely ask. Opinion thoda will not ask. For the tablet students, there will be doubt session after the class. Flow of the lectures, one thread of Western political thought, that is 1A, another thread of Indian government and politics. For the students of this particular batch, the ideal time to start answer writing would be in first week of September or last week of August. Don't start immediately because you require content to write answers. And if you write answer without content or without well revised content, answers will be substandard, that will hit on your confidence. So thoda sa just wait for 1.5 months, 2 months, and then start first week of September or last week of August. Tab tak some topic of Western political thought or Indian government politics would be over, and you will be in a position to write the answers. I will take a session on answer writing before somewhere around August, so that we can know the nuances of answer writing. Offline to online. Those who feel that it is better that you can do the classes in the tablet mode, maybe you are coming from quite distance, it is taking a lot of time, maybe some people are not comfortable in the offline mode, so you have the time till Sunday, this Sunday. You can switch from offline to online, and whatever will be the differential fee you'll have to pay. For that, you'll have to meet the coordinator. She sits outside ma'am's office. Her name is Anshul. So, but make this decision within, let us say, next 2-3 days, by Sunday. After Sunday, the change is not allowed actually. So whatever, because we also want some kind of visibility, we want the flux to settle down so that we can conduct the classes peacefully. So यदि आपको लगता है कि it is becoming difficult for you, because हो सकता है आपको नीचे लाइन में भी लगना पड़ा होगा, and there are many challenges which you face. On the other hand, there are students who say that we understand in the offline mode better than the online mode. So ठीक है, that is your decision, but make that decision before Sunday. Okay. Missed classes, if you are in the online mode, for the tablet students, there are 20 exceptional lectures that you can find in the tab. You can watch those lectures. For offline students, first suggestion would be, then don't try to miss the lectures, because it will break the flow. Okay, and somehow things are connected. But there are many students who are, let us say, in the universities, abhi exams chal rahe honge. So if you have the exam, then you don't have any other option. You miss the lectures during that particular time, we will show you in the video lectures. When you come back, you will write a mail attaching the admit card and the schedule. In the premises here only, we will give you a tablet wherein you can watch the lectures. But again, the suggestion is, try to keep it minimum. It is for your convenience only. Okay? If you are falling sick, any health issues there, we are always there to help you. ठीक है, जितने भी classes आपने miss किए हैं, will help you in that. But again, here also ऐसा ना हो कि एक दिन का बुखार हो, आपने 15 दिन lecture miss किए होंगे. ठीक है, again it is for, because some kind of seriousness is required. So try to make sure that, okay, the connect between you and me, the classes, the messages will go on Telegram channel. That will be the primary way to connect. Okay, there are 2 email IDs important for you. psir@shubhranjan.com for any course related issue. Okay. Other is support@shubhranjan.com. This is for the tablet students. If you are facing any issue with the tablet, you can write on this mail. For offline students, this email ID is important. psir@shubhranjan.com. So any concern you have, kindly write on this email ID using the email ID which with you are registered. ठीक है, वो pseudo email ID नहीं लिखने है, lavasna@123 नहीं, ठीक है, IPS rank 1 ऐसा नहीं. We get such email IDs also. So it only those email IDs which is registered with us, you have to write with it. Okay. So psir@shubhranjan.com. So that's it, and think Praveen sir will talk to you something about the courses, and then ma'am will start the class. Any doubt that you have? Please. Hmm. No. See, the video lectures in the online format will be given only of the Indian political thought. Okay. Miss lectures we don't give because of the past experiences. The moment it goes on the website, it gets leaks out. Okay, that's fine. So we will show you the lectures at our premises, or if you are going to a place where we have the regional center, for example, Mumbai, Pune, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Jammu, Bhubaneswar, wherever we have the regional center, there you can go and watch the lectures without any hesitation. Okay, anything else? Okay. Sure. Thank you so much.
Good morning, one and all. Myself, Praveen. Um, the institute is having a team, the backend team, which is also very hardworking. For you to prepare ID cards, the whole night they haven't slept. I'm just telling you the team which is behind the institute. All right. So there could be some issues. Managing such huge strength is not a joke. So we also expect some kind of cooperation from your side and some kind of patience, and most importantly, the understanding between us. So if you're facing any issue related to the technical thing or related to classes, team is always available. Like sir said, Anshul ma'am is always there sitting to help you for the classes. And downstairs also at the reception, there is a team waiting for you all the time. And you have to understand the management also. Okay, so sooner or later any of your issues will be solved. All right, so if you have any problems, any issues, or any concerns, you can approach as a buddy, as a mentor. All right, so we are there, team is available, and we also have a technical team, dedicated for this purpose. So kindly note that if you have any issues, always feel free to approach. And first and foremost thing for anyone to become an IAS officer is understanding. So understand people and the subject. So the word understanding, I would like to underline once again. So you can get any sort of help anytime. All right. Thank you so much. And we have something like mentorship and all, the integrated course mentorship also. So I would like to invite Subhanshu sir for addressing the gathering.
So, a very good morning to all of you. My name is Shubhanshu Jaiswal and I'm part of the management Shubha Ranjan IAS. I look after the GS course here. So I'll be telling you about our course very briefly. Okay, so before going ahead, I would like to ask, how was yesterday's class? Did you enjoy political science, introduction to political science with ma'am? Great to hear. I hope you all have gone through the syllabus and PYQs of UPSC, at least for the previous 2 to 3 years. Have you reached to any conclusion or any analysis from your end? All right, let me put it very simply. Which stage of UPSC, according to you, is the most crucial to decide your rank in the final list? Mains. And in mains, which subject carries that weightage? Optional. And along with optional, GS, because you have 4 paper of GS, you have one qualifying no, like merit paper for GS in your prelims, and again even in your interview, the very central core of your personality which you will be reflecting there will be your GS. GS से ही आपको वो knowledge base मिलेगा जिसके अराउंड आप बात करेंगे. So is it wrong to say that in order to clear this examination one must have a profound foundation in GS? Right, so you need to pay equal attention to your GS as well, and that is the intention we are we have designed this integrated course. In integrated, we combine the GS and PSIR course because many sections are overlapping, like your paper 1 section A, section B, right? Again in paper 2 section B, it overlaps with your IR part of GS. So Indian society, certain topics are overlapping. So time and again, what do? We need to ensure that in the very limited time, we are able to prepare all of this by the help of integration. So here comes the role of this integrated course. In this, what do? We combine the important sections of PSIR and GS and we conduct it in the integrated classes. For example, the master classes for GS2, which are taken by Shubhra Ranjan ma'am. In this, ma'am integrates, like ma'am takes the topics of polity, which are equally important for your paper 1 section B and your GS2 as well, right? I hope you all must have seen certain videos of master classes. If not, go and watch the master class by Shubhra ma'am. It is already there on the YouTube on our channel. What else do we provide in this integrated course? First of all, in order to ensure that you have a very good foundation in this subject, you need to study from very reliable teachers, very experienced teachers, and of course you can imagine when we conduct the polity, when we conduct the political science with Shubhra Ranjan ma'am, so we'll pay equal attention to GS as well. So in our GS foundation course, the teachers are highly experienced and they have a very good academic background. Why good academic background? Because even today, UPSC does not make the question on its own. It invites academicians. They make the questions for UPSC. So it's important to have such a team on board which can impart the knowledge to the students and has good academic background to understand the demand of the UPSC. Fine. What else is covered in this course? We pay a good amount of attention towards the PYQs because there's no knack of knowing UPSC. The only way is to know the UPSC through PYQs and syllabus. So we pay a good amount of attention there. Apart from that, we conduct regular tests. Why? Because despite covering so much of information in the class, as a human you will always forget the things, so it's important to keep revising these things, and that we do in our regular class tests which we conduct on Sunday. And that is also very interesting. So what do? One Sunday we conduct prelims based test, another Sunday we conduct mains based test, so that the students are well versed with both the stages of the examination. Now what is left? Interview. So we pay equal attention to the personality development of the students. We at Shubhra Ranjan IS, I mean, you can definitely cross check. We are the only institute which focuses on the mentorship of the students, which focuses on the overall development of the students. We don't stick to the notebooks. Even ma'am, she covers so many things which are even beyond the notebooks. But again, it is important for your overall development, for your overall grasp of the subject. Fine. So ma'am has come, so I'll mention very briefly. We are conducting a workshop on this upcoming Sunday, that is 23rd of June. The timing for this is 5 p.m. So here all the teachers of the GS Foundation course, they will come and they will discuss the strategy of the subject one by one. You will definitely receive the links and invitation for the same, and the workshop will be held here only. So you are most welcome to attend this and to make an effective strategy for your GS. And this batch, the batch we are talking about, will start from 4th of July. So once again, I invite all of you for this workshop on 23rd June. And apart from this, I hope you all enjoy this journey with ma'am. All the best. Thank you.
So good morning, all of you. So today we will start with Western political thought. So first of all, I will explain and then you will write. There is no need to write side by side. Fine. First, try to understand. When I'll tell you, then you write. Okay. So, Western political thought. First of all, anyway, you just write introduction. And what can be a probable question, and what you should be preparing from here. Write a probable question. Write define Western political thought and its significance. Full stop. Write further. How political thought differs from political theory, comma, political science, political ideology, and political philosophy. Next question. Define classics. Define classics. Classics क्या होते हैं? Comma, significance of studying classics, and different approaches for the study of classics. So ultimately, we should be able to answer these questions. Okay. And after lecture, when you go, you should be revising. Can you explain political thought, political theory, political ideology? So these terms are clear or not. This is what we have to understand. So first of all, you should have a clarity of each and every term that we are using. Why Western means how Western differs from non-Western also. Okay, like last year there was a question on Eurocentrism found in the political theory. Okay, then I should know what is political. How will I identify the political thought? Let us say from geographical thought, economic thought, sociological thought, how attempts have been made to define it. And then ultimately thought. Fine. So when I understand these words, then only you will be able to understand how to study Plato's work, how to understand it. Fine. So we are studying Western political thought, and we will start deconstructing first of all from what is political or how to define political. Fine. So what is politics? What is political science, as you very well know, what do you study in geography, landforms? As you know, what you study in economics, market. So, what do you study in political science? And first of all, identifying the scope of the subject. Political science as a subject deals with what? Have you understood this? So, first of all, our problem is we should be able to define the term political. Okay. So, in your copies, first of all, write defining political. Okay. And here, write one question. Write the question. ऐसे लिखो, write short note on the concept personal is political. Full stop. इसी में ऐसे कर सकते. Critically examine the statement. So roughly, do you understand? You have chosen political science. What you are going to study into that? Political science as a subject deals with what? Political science. Again, do you know what is science? So, defining political, or let us first define political science. Can you define science? You are a student of science. Fine. So, defining political science. पहले तो ये और एक question लिखो. The questions I have given so far, 2 questions I gave you, or 3 questions. One important is classics. Another question is personal is political, and make an assessment of this statement. Okay. Now I will give you certain questions, not for writing, but just for brainstorming, that these are certain points over which we will be discussing. These are certain points of thoughts over which we will have a discussion and bring a clarity before starting anything else. Okay. So first write ऐसे लिखो, what is political science, or defining political science. Okay. Now from here also you can get one question. So question में लिख लो, जो from exams point of view, write this question. Right. There is one statement you write, when I see a question paper, when I see a question paper titled political science, comma, I am more troubled with the title than the questions asked. Okay. So, is there any problem in defining or utilizing this term, using this term, political science? Is political science science? But do you have a definition of science? You know what is science? Science is a study based on experiments. Science is a study based on experiments, which basically means verification. By experiment, what you do? You are verifying any theory or principle. Fine. But is this a comprehensive definition of science? You all are converting idea into reality is not science. That is action, governance, administration, execution. Pardon? Systematic and the rational study of the subject. So, normally, when you are defining science in this way, the reason is because the way we use the term science, usage of the science is you are associating science with the natural sciences. Fine. You call and you don't feel uncomfortable if physics is called science, if chemistry is called science. Fine. So we are habitual of thinking in a specific way, and unlearning is required now. Fine. So we have been thinking science in a narrow way, but science is not just a natural science. Okay. Aristotle is known as father of political science. Okay, but not in the sense of natural sciences, though he is also known as father of biology too. Okay, but that's a different thing. So, natural sciences are not everything that science is. Okay, so how to understand something? What is it? Okay, so always go not in the usage, but in the origin of that term. How this term has come into existence. Okay. And will you believe if I say philosophy is also a science? Or philosophy is science? And will you also support this statement, science is a philosophy? Yes. Fine. So, in short, there is no difference between science and philosophy. You agree with that? Science and philosophy. So, there is nothing great about doing BSc, or there is nothing bad about doing political science, BA honors. Fine. Both are equally honorable. Political science is more. Fine, that's a different thing. So, let us deconstruct and let us break the established stereotypes. Okay, So understand, actually understand the things scientifically. How these terms have come into existence. Okay. So normally how we go for it to understand something, we go into etymological origin. Etymological origin means how this word has come into existence. What is the original meaning of this term? Okay. So the term science, it originates from the Greek word episteme. Okay. Science means episteme, and episteme means knowledge. Fine. Epistemology, it is also a branch of learning. Fine. And where you study theories of knowledge. Okay. So science is simply a knowledge, and political sciences, you are trying to gain knowledge about the political world. Natural sciences, you are gaining knowledge about the natural world. So, should natural sciences be allowed to gain or claim monopoly over the term science? No. So, number of times in interviews with the political science students, they start with this very basic question: do you think political science is science? What do you think? Yes. If we go into the etymological origin and understand the concept or the meaning of science in the right perspective. The term science comes from which term? Episteme. Episteme is a Greek word for knowledge. So, in political science, science word can be replaced with political knowledge or knowledge about the political world. Natural science, we can replace science and we can say it knowledge about the natural world. Fine. So it is not that one is inferior, other is superior. Doing BSc is more important than doing BA, nothing like it. If you know and have a clarity. Fine. Because understanding. So I hope now you don't have any doubt about political science. Okay. You wrote that statement question, but I have not told, I think, the thinker's name, scholar. उसमें कोट किसका है उसका नाम लिख लीजिए. Coat of Maitland. When I see a question paper with the title science, ठीक है, अब ऐसे लिखो, because right answer, political science, not an answer, just content लिखो. Political science is one of the oldest disciplines. Comma, we can trace the roots of political science in ancient Greece. ठीक है, right, full stop, right. Ancient Greece is considered as cradle of Western civilization, the birthplace of Western civilization. Okay, have to go right. Hence, the subject of political science is first think and answer. The subject of political science is Western in origin. Don't write, think. If I say political science is Eurocentric, it has its origin in Europe. It is Western discipline. Its origin is in the West. Is it acceptable? Correct? Broadly acceptable in a formal sense, though coming from India or China, we can always put a question mark. But predominantly, it is considered as a Western discipline. Means its concepts are Western, its terminologies are Western, Indian concepts, Indian terminologies, they are not universally recognized. For example, if I use the term nation, and in India we use the term Rashtra, but the term Rashtra will not be acceptable. You have to write nation. Okay. So is the terminology Western? Subject is Western. Fine. Subject is Western means if you want to go for higher education in political science, it is not, or the word people will not come to India. People will go for either USA or European universities. Okay. So political science is a Western discipline. No one will come to India to gain political wisdom. Okay. Because that is not recognized. We may say that we are Vishwaguru, we have enlightened the world, but world does not recognize all these things and they consider it as the Indian rhetorics. Okay. West will never recognize that India is the Vishwaguru. Fine. We will keep on beating the drum that we are Vishwaguru. Okay. Because what is the Western theory? The Western theory is they have been the civilized people, and those who were outside the West, like us, Chinese and others, we have been barbarians. Fine. And how West justify its imperialism, its colonialism. So they give this theory, the theory of civilizing mission. Okay. So it is the West which came and civilized us. So strategically, they will never accept that India also has been one of the birthplace of the political wisdom or the political thought. Okay. And why West? Because West had its hegemony around the world because of colonialism. Our textbooks, before the coming of the British, we had a textbook in political science? No. Fine. So India used to have, we never had that writing tradition also. Our tradition was oral tradition. Fine. So we cannot have an evidence also that this is our original thought. Okay, what you are speaking. When we will do the Western thought and theory, you will find that there are so many ideas for which the credit should be given to Indians. But there is no such recognition. Okay, because we are living in the world which is dominated by the West. Western hegemony hai. This world and its institutions, they are made by the West. The language we speak is made by the West. The meanings to it is given by the West. Okay? So, we do not have any standing in academics. Okay? Our top universities may be ranking somewhere in 300, 400 as far as political science and international relations are concerned. Fine. You will come to know, or you may be knowing, the names of Western scholars, philosophers. But even if you try to find out, you will not be knowing the name of Indian political philosopher. The only Indian political philosopher you may be knowing is Manu and Kautilya, and the credit for knowing them is also goes to British. It is the British who were actually to be given credit for converting Manu Smriti in the form of a book under the project of Oriental learning, and Manu's book was published in the form of a code of Gentoo laws, and nobody was actually knowing about Kautilya also. Around 1920s, somebody discovered a book and then some transcripts, and then we came to know about Kautilya. Fine. So we may be knowing more about the history of the West rather than our own history. We are completely unaware of our history. We are completely unaware of our culture. Okay? You agree with that? You don't know the meanings of your own culture. You don't know the meanings of your texts. Fine. If I ask you your text, like, have you ever read Manu? Have you ever read Arthashastra? No, you don't know what is written there. Fine. And these texts are written in which language? Sanskrit. How many of you know Sanskrit? You don't know. When you don't know, how will you read it? Fine. So, what we can read is English. What we can read is English text. What we can know about ourselves, not by ourselves, but what British will tell about us. Okay, is it a fact? So, am I right if I say the people in the East have no history? Do you have your history? Do you have history books? your history books first written by the British. It was the British who classified, done, and divided the Indian history into three phases: Hindu phase, Mughal phase, and the British, the golden phase. Okay. So before that, where is your history book? Do you have a tradition of writing? No. So history has been destroyed. Okay. And history is destroyed means we should not be knowing who we are. We should not be knowing our past. Fine. So when history is destroyed and you do not know about your past, what happens to you? You want to know about your past? In your family, do you have a curiosity to know what your grandparents were doing, where were the original? Have you ever asked this question? Yes. Why do you ask this question? To know about your roots. Okay. So if you know your history, you know your roots. Fine. You know your origin. And if you do not know your roots, you are rootless. Okay. So most of us are rootless people. We are rootless or not? You don't know? You have roots, you know about it? I don't think so. So we are rootless. And we are rootless means we are nomadic. Okay. So we are nomadic means we are tribals. Fine. So again, there can be a contestation on the term tribal also. Is tribal tribal or civilized tribal? How to define it? That we will come. But if you are tribal, what is the opposite of tribal? Civilized. So are you civilized? Indians civilized? Or they are dirty Indians, not civilized? अब जाके मोदी जी ने हाथ वाथ धोना सिखाया. You understanding this? Fine. So are Indians civilized? Are Africans civilized? People in Middle East civilized? No. Fine. And why I am saying no? Because I have to speak from the perspective of Western countries. In their definition, who will give us the certificate? West. And according to that certificate, you do not qualify for this test. Fine. So the West has done huge favor to you by leaving their beautiful lands, coming to these uncivilized places just to civilize, just because that has been the wish of God. So those who came to India, Middle East, Africa, who were they? They were messengers of God, sent for our betterment. And see how civilized we are today. Yes, all credit goes to British. And you can just imagine what would have happened to India if Europeans had not come to India. Okay, so if Europeans had not come to India, tell me, you would have been giving civil services exam? No, you would have been uncivilized, tribal, uncivilized. Is that clear? So tribal and uncivilized people are not supposed to sit as equals. Okay, so India is not supposed to sit at the highest table of global diplomacy. Why? Because who are we? Uncivilized. Fine. So, is the world based on the principle of equality? No. International context, the world is divided between East and West. West is civilized, East is uncivilized. Okay, and that is why the world and its institutions, they are based on what? One fault line on which the world is based is racism. You understand racism? Have you suffered racism? You have heard racism. There was a racism. Indians were coolies. Okay, what is our identity? Coolie. Who was Gandhi? Coolie. How can a coolie sit in a compartment, fine, which is reserved for the white? Okay, so don't forget this very fact of the world in which we live. Okay, so this world is divided between whites and blacks. Okay, and now yellow is also becoming significant. So the yellow civilization, the Chinese are also trying to assert their supremacy. Okay, so in international sphere, it is very, very common and visible. You will always you are going to made to feel that you belong to non-white race. Okay, so is racism, tell me, is racism one of the reason that India is out of UN Security Council? Can it be a reason? At least Chinese are yellow, fine. So Indians are more on the darker side, fine. So Indians should be sitting more with Africans, not with the whites. So the demand is very unjustified. Okay, so we have nuclear weapons. Our economy is bigger than the size of French economy, British economy, in terms of military power, in all aspects of power, more than France and Britain. India deserves. But where is the problem? Color. Color is a big problem. We live in the world which is divided on the lines of race. Okay, and color matters or not. Is the dark color of your skin is a reason for your, one of the reason for your dissatisfaction with yourself? Do you keep on buying Fair and Lovely? Now there is a Fair and Lovely for men specific also, fine. Do you think Americans spend their money on purchasing Fair and Lovely? But we have to keep some amount of money for that also. Okay, in terms of happiness index, Happiness, do you think there is more happiness in India or in West? According to the index, West. Fine. So, in the third world countries, there is more frustration, there is more anger, there is more violence. And there is one scholar who traces why we are more frustrated. Fine. Why we are, why in these countries there is greater violence. Do you think, do you feel that you behave in a more violent manner in comparison to the civilized West? They are less frustrated than us, and there is a theory behind it, and this theory is given by Franz Fanon. Fine. And Franz Fanon is a very well-known scholar from Africa, from the Western world, from Africa. And his very important book is Black Skin, White Mask. Okay. So where is in which country the sale of face mask is highest? In India. India has a huge and a very extraordinary obsession with the white skin. Fine. So we have dual image. We have two personalities. One which we have. One what we want to. So what we have is black skin. How do you want to look in the mirror? White. You want to look like a Snow White. Fine. 15 minutes every day gets wasted in that. Okay. And then it only gives us back what? Frustration. That you are not white. And that frustration gets reflected in your work, in your day, the way you will behave on the roads, the way you will behave with your friends. You are so restless. Why? Because there is some standard which you have to meet. And there is, which standard Americans have to meet? Sometimes they come for tanning their skin, right? But they don't, they themselves are the standards. Okay. And we are there to copy them. Okay. So what Franz Fanon suggests, we have double consciousness. Okay. And actually we all hate ourselves. We don't feel good. Why I was born in India? Why my parents are like this? Why not Americans? Why not blue eyes? Why not golden hair? Fine. You always, at least then you think, okay, I'll marry a woman with blue eyes, white skin, golden hair. That's a definition. So who is beautiful? Who has defined the definition of beauty? The West. Fine. So we have no base to understand ourselves. We have no standard to measure. Okay. So our all understanding is based on what? Western standards. So how to define the world in which we are living? A Western dominated world. Okay. And West never has the crisis of identity, but we have crisis of identity. Okay. So we really feel proud when we send our children to English schools. And it's a matter of great shame also if you will send your children to vernacular schools. Rather, somebody will feel that it cannot be a choice, it is because of poverty. You are sending your children, you're not sending your children to your own vernacular language. Will you send your children to the vernacular mediums? No. Fine. So if you will don't, if child will not know about the language, child will know about the culture. No. So when they will not know about the culture, they will always remain rootless. This phenomena of rootlessness can also be explained through the concept of anomie given by one of the prominent sociologists, Emile Durkheim. And anomie becomes one of the reason behind the suicides. He has studied the increase in the suicides. Why suicides happen? When you become normless, you get confused. You don't get the direction. You don't understand what is right, what is wrong, where, like what you are, what you want to be. You have your goals. One of the goal is white color. And if you don't, after spending so much money on Fair and Lovely and you don't get that color, that can also be one of the reason behind the suicides. Yes or no? Yes. So racism and its impact and the continued violence on the people living in the third world countries, even after the end of colonialism, is what some scholars from the Western countries talk about. So there is a debate in social sciences about the hegemony of the West. The definitions are Western, language is Western. One such example I can give is the term secularism. Okay, so West will always contest that how India is secular, because our constitutional model of secularism may not be fitting into the Western definition of secularism. So their definition is complete separation. But for us, we believe in Sarva Dharma Sambhav or something like that. And they will never say that, they will never give us the certificate of India as a secular state. And we also, don't you think you remain throughout your UPSC preparation confused only about what is secularism? Because we don't have the understanding. This can also be a secularism. West is always a standard. Is this clear? So the world in which we live continues to be a highly unequal world. Okay? And the inequalities or the divisions and the fault lines are many. One strongest, very universal fault line is racism, which is a legacy of colonialism. And we started studying political science only because God sent Britishers here. Fine. So because British came, we got to know about Plato, Socrates, we became virtuous, we became knowledgeable. Fine. Similarly, the world is also divided on the lines of class. Fine. There are countries of North and the countries of South. Fine. South in general is poor. and the north in general is rich. They are rich also, they are fair also. We are poor also, we are black also. ठीक है, यानी कि who is favorite of God? हाँ? ये गॉड के फेवरेट लोग हैं, ठीक है, नॉट ये सॉरी, भगवान इनको ज्यादा पसंद करता है, इनके पास सब कुछ अच्छा अच्छा ही है, पैसा सब इन्हीं के पास आ जाता है. एंड वी आर चिल्ड्रन ऑफ लेसर गॉड. Our gods are also very uncivilized. They don't know how to dress, right? They will dress like women, right? They will wear earrings, they will wear bangles, okay? So our gods are not smart gods. They are second class gods, okay? And they are very feminine gods, okay? So you agree with that? Yes, our gods are always like this, हाँ, शांति वाले गॉड, राइट? तो हमारे गॉड थोड़े फेमिनिन है, और जो वेस्ट है वो मैस्कुलिन. Nations also have gender, just like clothes have gender, fine? So in the Western world, people consider that non-Western culture is feminine culture and the Western culture is masculine. Fine. So in the wars, West has always been winning. What is the difference between men and a woman? Women are losers. Right? Even if men don't win, you have to stay quiet and accept, okay, you have won. Okay? And we have been losing. Why we lost wars to Europeans? Because we were feminine. Okay? You agree with that? Feminine. सलवार कुर्ता पहन के लड़ोगे, है ना? और फिर जो सामने दुश्मन है उस पर दया माया दिखाना चालू कर दोगे, है ना? तो फेमिनिन है. These people are not who are women. Women are emotional, not rational. Fine? नॉर्थ का वुमेन भी रैशनल होते हैं. सी नैंसी पेलोसी, ठीक? Fine? So they are strong, they don't cry. People in the south, they are very emotional, means they are not rational. They are losers and they are the winners. This is the starting point of studying anything. So this, you are okay with that? With today you got to know who you are, huh? So here men are also not men, right? They are feminine, okay? And that is why they don't stand anywhere in competition with the Western men. So here the men will try to over exert themselves to look like men, right? So this generation spends a lot of time in gym, irrespective of the gym leading to heart attacks, but because you want to look like men, fine? And the definition of men is the masculine men. Okay, you feel bad when Priyanka Chopra married Nick, क्या नाम? Nick Jonas, हाँ? Men मतलब वेस्ट में ही men है, इंडिया में नहीं. ठीक है. Indian men are very feminine. And the best example is Gandhi. Okay. गांधी के तरीके देखें. Gandhi left the suit. Gandhi came to धोती. इतना पढ़ाने लिखाने के बाद, लंदन में पैसा खर्च करने के बाद, माँ बाप को कितना दुख होगा अगर तुम धोती पहन लोगे, है ना. तो गांधी को देख के ही लगता है कि ये यही है, मतलब दिस इज द पीपल फ्रॉम द ईस्ट. फाइन. एंड देन Gandhi's styles. Is Gandhi masculine? No, Gandhi is feminine. Fine. So Gandhi is not going for war. Gandhi is going for fasting. Fasting in our culture, who do fasting? Women. So Gandhi is, huh? Why men do not do fasting? Because it is a woman thing. Okay. So, and why do you do men masculine? Because you are somewhere at your subconscious mind, you have a standard of the West. Okay, so you want to be like that. And what all women does? What was Gandhi's style? Tantrums. Okay. Gandhi used to do tantrums. मेरी बात मानो नहीं तो मैं जूस नहीं पीऊंगी. मेरी बात मानो नहीं तो ये salt हटाओ. All nonsense. Fine. So in short, the people in the East are all nonsense. That's the only word. Fine. That is what, this is the world in which we are living. And that is why even colonialism has ended, the mental colonialism has not ended, and till that mental colonialism will not end, there will not be, the West will continue to dominate over the East. We will continue to face problems like violence. We will continue to suffer from poverty. Okay, so we will link it. So the idea was, I just wanted to give you the feel of Eurocentrism. Okay, so many of you may be feeling that I am unlucky to born in the South, in India, and I am lucky, people are really lucky who are born in US, who have US citizenship. We may be trying to gain US citizenship, and it is also a status symbol. Okay, so we will study this philosophy also, that is called as post-colonialism, and there is so much need. If you want to address poverty here, first of all, intellectual poverty has to go. Okay, and you have to create your own literature. You have to create your own terminologies, your own words. One such attempt was being done by Pandit Nehru when he rejected the usage of the word Middle East. Fine. So only India uses the term West Asia. Because when you use the term Middle East, it is Eurocentric. If Europe is a center, then that is Middle East. But if India is a center, then that place is West Asia. But in US, they don't use the term West Asia. They will not recognize it. So there is lot of politics in academics. That is also to be understood. And we will be doing it from time to time. So if I say the discipline of political science, what we know or how we are taught is Western in origin. You have to accept it. Okay? And that is why I am saying ancient Greece is a birthplace of the Western, it is a birthplace of political science. Okay? And the people in the West, they say that India is politically empty. There is no political wisdom. If they have been politically wise people, why would have they been a slave for so much time? Okay, so India is not a place to learn political wisdom. India is a place for spiritual wisdom, if you want. Fine. So in India, we do not make a difference between politics and ethics. But the Western tradition is the differentiation between politics and ethics. They say that ethics has no role in politics. Fine. So Indians felt or suffered the betrayal at the hands of Europeans because they came from different culture. We came from different culture. Gandhi was trying to challenge the Western hegemony, Western understandings, and was trying to build its own understanding. Fine. So are you confused? Confusion? No confusion. Okay. So if you are confused, it is good thing that you try to understand. And if you are not confused, means you haven't heard also. You are supposed to get confused. Right? So anyway, we will see lot of Western, and we will understand that many of our problems, even at the personal psychological level, is because of the domination of the Western world, which is still continuing. Okay, so where were we? We were trying to understand the origin of the term political science. And I simply said that the political science is one of the oldest disciplines which has its origin in the ancient Greece. And ancient Greece is the place of or the cradle of Western civilization, and it is a Western discipline or predominantly Western. Okay, the language is predominantly Western. You have written that? What's the last line? Have you written? No. So in the end, just write that, continue further. देखो राइट इट एस फुल स्टॉप करके ऐसे लिखो नेक्स्ट पैराग्राफ से, और ये आंसर नहीं है, ये बस सब समझना है. ओके, अब लिखो राइट इट वुड बी करेक्ट to say that political science is predominantly a Western discipline. Arrow करके लिखो, मतलब means just understand what does this mean, right? It shows that it is dominated by the Western scholars, its language and concepts are Western. That's why in Hindi medium or other, it becomes very difficult to study this subject because you don't have text, you don't have terminologies, okay? And that is a problem. Fine. So one thing also I just wanted to tell that how West has ruled us, okay, first by establishing our rootlessness, and this was the theory on which imperialism was based. You know imperialism? Civilizing mission. At times, the term white man's burden. It was their burden to civilize us. Okay. So, if we want to dominate the world, if we want to be recognized as at par with the other countries, what is required? We have to discover our roots. Okay, it is just a concept, fine. So, if I quote Gandhi, what Gandhi said, we should keep the windows of our house open so that the fresh air from all directions can enter into my house. Okay? And from the very beginning, Indian culture has been open to the ideas and the cultural values of the other cultures. But Gandhi also held that keep your door closed. Keep your door closed means you should not get uprooted by the gush of the wind. A strong wind should not uproot it. And it is so important to find out your roots. Okay. So Gandhi has been one of the extraordinary mass leader, one of the most successful politicians world has ever witnessed. Okay. And Gandhi had given which type of fight to the British? He fought hand to hand? No, intellectual fight. Okay. So Gandhi gave a intellectual fight. Gandhi developed new methods of a struggle. Gandhi developed new idioms in politics. You understand idioms? Language. Fine. Up till now, everybody was talking about politics and ethics is different. It was Gandhi who started talking about the continuity between ends and means, politics and ethics. He started talking about the spiritualization of Swaraj. Gandhi Gandhi wrote in his book Hind Swaraj that the Western civilization is actually not a civilization. It is a satanic civilization. We have to go back to our roots. You know about Gandhi? You know Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi? Huh? So, Gandhi and his contribution. So, Gandhi said that we have to go to the roots and we have to establish and we have to present the right picture of our culture and tradition. In this process, Gandhi ended up justifying Varna system. Okay. And you know about the most famous debate when Janvi Kapoor knows. How can you don't know? Fine. You are preparing for UPSC. Look at Janvi Kapoor. She knows. She knows the most important debate is Gandhi-Ambedkar debate. Okay. And Ambedkar challenged Gandhi for what? Justification of Varna system. Okay. And Ambedkar held that Varna is actually a caste. Between Ambedkar and Gandhi, who was more westernized? Ambedkar. Fine. So he continued to look at Indian institutions through the Western lens. Okay. Whereas Gandhi was trying to rediscover Indian roots. A very important question for Bollywood stars, but also very important question for UPSC students, even in GS, Gandhi Ambedkar debate. Okay. So Gandhi and before Gandhi, if I talk about Tilak, is there a continuity between Gandhi and Tilak? Yes. Okay. And after that, one of the principal opponent of Gandhi was M.N. Roy. And M.N. Roy was communist. Communism is a Western thinking. And M.N. Roy has criticized Gandhi that Gandhi is a revivalist. Have you heard this term, revivalism? Revivalism is a word that sounds good or negative. Negative. If I tell you, are you a revivalist or are you a reformist? What would you like to be? Reformist means revivalism is a word which is negative in its connotation. You revive is something wrong. Why it is wrong? Because who made this word revivalism, and that is wrong? Because when you speak any term, some emotion is also involved or not. So revivalism as a word is also with negative notion. Okay. He's revivalist. We never say he's revivalist. Okay. We say he's revivalist. Okay. Why we say like this? Is revivalism bad? Revivalism is bad because West says so. Okay. Varna system is bad because West says so. Okay. So this is what you have to understand. If non-Western world tries to recollect the roots and they try to again find out the real meaning of their culture, they will call us what? Revivalists. Revivalists means conservatives. Conservative is a bad word. Fine. Reformist is good. And what about revolutionaries? Not that good. Fine. So being reformist is good. Why reformist is good? Reformist. So reformation. You know about reformation? Renaissance. Reformation. Reformation started where? West. Fine. And West started reforming the things. And the most important movement is enlightenment. Enlightenment is what? Emergence of reason. So, most of the Western scholars that we are going to study, they are enlightenment scholars. we are going to get enlightened by these enlightenment scholars about the world, and the Western civilization is around the ideas of enlightenment. Enlightenment means reason. Okay. Enlightenment, do you have some idea about the Western history? Western history starts with ancient Greece, age of city-states. This has given rise to Roman Empire. In the medieval times, and medieval times are known as Dark Ages because it has been the age of religion. And then came modern age, age of enlightenment. Fine. Age of reason. Is there a conflict between reason and religion? Fine. So, which people are rational and which side of the people are religious? Western are rational. Western are rational. They are rational because how is their outlook to life? How do they look towards life? Secular. Fine. And our outlook is religious. Religion means superstition. Western civilization is scientific, rational, modern, free from superstitions. Fine. And Indian civilization full of superstition. Fine. So East is different. We are talking about Western political culture. You got an opportunity to become civilized. Okay, not just to clear exam, but you got an opportunity to know what is civilized people do, what is civilized outlook. And this is something bad. You should not have this outlook. Okay, so modern states should be governed by reason and should not be governed by religion. Religion is predominant where? In the East. And East is what? If West is what? Then we are evil. Evil. Fine. So I'll give you name of a evil empire or axis of evil. Have you heard this word? Who coined this word? George Bush. Fine. Axis of evil. And in the world, what is going on? The fight between good and evil. Okay. So good is US, evil is Iran. Okay. So Iran is a axis of evil. Other countries which are evil are North Korea or Iraq. But let's major civilizational. Have you heard about one term? Clash of civilizations. Fine. So the biggest clash of civilization is between US and Iran. And right now, we are witnessing that clash where? Gaza. Fine. So Iran has its own set of soldiers. They have their own set of soldiers. And this clash of civilizations is taking place. Okay. So you favor which country? India. India is in the league of which? India culturally, we should be supporting Iran or US? Iran. ईरान इतनी छोटी सी बात तुम लोग जानते हो, मोदी जी को नहीं समझ में आ रहा है, ठीक है. Is Iran challenging this hegemony about the Western superiority? So does US recognize Iranian democracy as democracy? No. So US says you don't have democracy, rather you have a totalitarian state. Why Iran is not democracy? Because there is a supreme leader. Fine, the religious head. And there is religion's presence in politics of Iran. So Iran is not a democracy. Is that clear? And Iran is evil. Okay. Now in India, in our constitution, religion is completely out of the state? No. Our national emblems, are they taken from religion? Fine. Primarily the Buddhist religion. Okay. So are we democracy from American lens? No. Right now they are saying so because they want our support for fight against China. Okay. But up till now, so they were questioning every now and then, how can you call India as a secular state? Fine. So every time they will come the report, freedom of religion report, this report, that report, just to demoralize us. Fine. There is always a tactic before any negotiation to start, to bring something that demoralize the other party. Okay. So if you want to demoralize and if you are looking for some bigger concessions, before I talking to you, I will first talk about a state of democracy, state of freedom, a state of corruption, and many other things. Fine. So is it just a mere coincidence that when USA's national security advisor was in India, at that time only Czech Republic extradites the accused in the Canadian cases? Is it a coincidence? Or it is a pre-planned thing? Pre-planned. Same when Xi Jinping come to India, before that their incursions takes place. For what? To build what? Moral pressure, to build a pressure. Fine. These are some bargaining tactics. Okay. So you will learn politics, how politics is done and what is politics. This is knowledge is a big politics. Okay. Theories are highly political in nature. So US and Iran. Do you know this political system of Iran? It came into existence when 1979, the Islamic Revolution in Iran. Okay. Before 1979, how was Iran? Western. Okay. Iran was ruled by the Western puppet, Shah of Iran, Reza Shah Pahlavi. Fine. The way US criticized Iran for being a totalitarian and excess of evil, do they criticize Saudi Arabia like that? No. Why? Because Saudi Arabia doesn't challenge the Western hegemony. Right now, they may have started challenging, but Iran is giving a big challenge. So, Iran has gone for revivalism. Okay. And because Iran has gone for revivalism, revivalism becomes a bad word. And those who do not understand revivalism as a bad word, you can be more clear if I use the term fundamentalism. Are they fundamentalist forces in the language of US? You know fundamentalism? You don't know fundamentalism? Forget. Huh? Orthodox? Orthodox. So how is the Western civilization is liberal. Eastern is orthodox. What are conservative people? What are backward people? Again, it is a responsibility of US to civilize them. Okay. So what US simply wants? Civilize Iran. Okay. And who is the bearer of culture? Women. Women are supposed to be the bearer of culture. Whenever you will talk about culture, you will always talk about women. Okay? Because women, they take care of children and they impart and imbibe the cultural values. Okay? Have you ever thought that if any boy doesn't follow tradition, that is okay. But if girls will not follow tradition, that is a big problem. Why? Because woman is supposed to be the bearer of the civilization. Fine. The responsibility, what is your culture? The responsibility is not on father. Responsibility is on mother. All cultural festivals, rituals, who will play a bigger role? Who will make sweets at the time of festival? And if father also make, it looks so abnormal. Fine. So at the root of the cultural politics is women. Fine. Women issues, women rights. Okay. And one major issue of the politics between the West and Iran is What issue? Issue of hijab. Okay. So the people in the West feel that they are conservative. And conservative is a bad term. Okay. Wearing hijab is something bad because US says so. I don't know bad or good, but because US says so. From now onwards, you have to keep on repeating one word because US says so. I don't know. Is that clear? So just because you will wear a hijab, you become a bad person. You are being exploited. Your liberty is being taken. Fine. And the moment you leave hijab and wear bikini, you become what? Liberated. Fine. Why? Because US says so. Fine. Okay. So is wearing hijab in itself a problem? No. But because there is a hegemony of the West. So we all start thinking it is bad, it is wrong. Okay? Because they have a reason to establish your culture is bad, our culture is superior. So first you have to make others feel bad about themselves. And first you defeat psychologically, and then you can defeat a person more easily. So is there a politics in language? Fine. So there is a politics in language. The language we speak, the terms we use, the expressions we use, are they scientific? No. Just because they will stop wearing hijab, they will get the freedom. US will stop exploiting the resources of the Iran or other countries. No. Fine. So what is this? This is a term used by Foucault, one of the scholar, Michel Foucault. It is a discourse. Okay. So while studying Western theory, you may have to face certain problems. Have you seen the world through this perspective? No. So now start changing the word by challenging the stereotypes. Okay. And this analysis to large extent comes a very important author and a very important post-colonial scholar, Edward Said. And Edward Said has written a book known as, with the title Orientalism. Fine. And there he has shown that how by the play of language, West has established its dominance. So this is a theme throughout, it will remain, and hopefully we will start understanding the reality, and you will start understanding where lies the roots of exploitation and what is to be done to end the exploitation. And you have to understand politics of language, politics of knowledge. And you have, that is why you have to understand political science. Okay. कुछ लोगों को समझ नहीं आया क्या बोला गया. क्या गया पीछे नींद विंद नहीं चलिए यस
Is it like we have
and
to?
what Iran is doing from 79, India was the first country to do so. After independence, Nehru has challenged the hegemony, and that is why we formed a platform of NAM, fine, to collect the Eastern world and to challenge on this notion. And one of the objective of NAM was principle of recognition of the principle of mutual equality among the states. Right now, China is also doing that. Okay? Yes.
Yes, ma'am. So the question was, this is the lens of West, right? So what do you want us to do? Like to keep the lens of West or to keep the
I
lens of
just want
neutrality?
you to open your eyes, especially those who are sitting at the back. They should just open your eyes and start seeing word differently than that what is being told to you. Okay, that is called as a critical thinking. Fine. So there is one eye which is there, but we never see. That is the third eye. Fine. So up till now you have seen through two eyes. Now open up your third eye. Fine. This third eye will give you the critical thinking. And who started the tradition of the critical thinking? Karl Marx. And one of his famous statement is, we all are standing on our heads. We have to stand on our feet to know how the world really is. Means the way we have been told to see the world, reality is something very different. Okay, so that is why you are expected to possess the critical insights and not to take the things as they are given. Okay, yes, that's why I was emphasizing on the idea of having the leadership skill, which requires a vision to see. US is only telling revivalism and fundamentalism, but US is not giving the entire theory. And Edward Said has given the account why Islam went into the direction of revivalism. Just like in India, extremists, they also went into the direction of finding the cultural roots. So just like British will criticize Islamic revivalists as orthodox, they will also criticize Hindu attempts of revivalism of Indian culture as an orthodoxy, conservatism, and they will start playing and manipulating the differences between Hindus and Muslims, especially after they have seen the solidarity of Swadeshi movement.
Ma'am,
Okay. Yes.
ma'am, as you said earlier that when viewed from the Western perspective, revivalism as a term is viewed in a negative connotation. But when we see the European Renaissance from the 15th century onwards, wasn't it in itself a revivalist movement? Can we say that?
Renaissance, but they present
Because
it
they talked, the scholars exclusively talked about reviving that
don't call
earlier
it-
Greek cradle of
they don't call
civilization.
it revivalism. They call it reformation. Fine. Because they were born great from the very beginning, some problem was there. They just tried to reform it. Enlightenment. So they say it is reformation. and not revivalism. What we did, what Tilak was trying to do was revivalism. What Iranians are doing, what Muslim world did, revivalism. तो हम लोग तो वैसे भी ऑर्थोडॉक्स कंजर्वेटिव बैकवर्ड है और हमको बहुत कुछ सीखना है अमेरिकन से, ठीक है। सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट यही पूरा पॉलिटिक्स इसी पर रिवॉल्व कर रहा है। वर्ल्ड पॉलिटिक्स, जैसे पॉलिटिक्स था till the end of Cold War, it was battle of ideologies. But today, it is a battle of civilizations. Okay, so the role of religion in politics will increase because the role of ideology has gone. Okay, so let us come back to the very basic thing that we were discussing. So basic can be stretched to most. कहाँ तक स्ट्रेच हो जाती है एक ही बात? कुछ आइडियाज आ रहे हैं, घर पे जाके ये सब बातें दोहराओगे? हाँ, हिजाब वाली डिबेट, किसी किसी को पकड़ के चाय पे चर्चा करेंगे आप? हाँ, कि भाई तुम्हें why whatever you think, why you think, bigger question is, if I think white is beautiful, but why I think so, that is important. So why I think so? Because I have been told so. Okay, so who told me, who civilized me, who imparted knowledge to me, who prepared the textbooks for me? I know what I have been told. From the very beginning, you don't know that white is beautiful. It is not natural, but you live in a society where you hear this story and you automatically develop a conception of what is good and what is bad, and that creates problems for the life of so many people, so much frustration, psychological and other, and there is all explanation of all these things in the theories that we are going to study. Okay, so yes, clash of civilizations, America and Iran की लड़ाई, तो वेस्टर्न एंड मुस्लिम वर्ल्ड, ओके, तो यही है क्लैश ऑफ सिविलाइजेशंस। यस, we overcome. How to counter? How to counter means you have to develop new language, you have to develop new discourse, okay, and for that also there is one book by Gayatri Spivak, and the title of that book is Can the Subaltern Speak? Fine. So subaltern means the disadvantaged class. The thing is, do we have capacity to counter the Western narrative, which is still a big question mark? We do not have. Okay, so we will continue to be dominated by the West. So lot of change is required in epistemology, in the knowledge which we have. Right now we will be focusing on the Western world. Forget India, think like Western, ठीक है, क्योंकि पहले वेस्टर्न को समझना जरूरी है। जब हम वेस्ट समझ लेंगे, आफ्टर दैट वी विल अंडरस्टैंड द पॉलिटिक्स ऑफ वेस्ट। ओके, व्हाई सो? एंड Western, because the Western world is where the origin of all our concepts. We understand sovereignty, state, security, everything through the Western lens. Yeah. I didn't say Iran is bad.
You said that hijab is bad. Okay, na ma'am.
I say we should support Iran rather than US.
But my question is that, is it right also?
हाँ, अभी तो इंडिया तो वैसे भी कर रहा है, वी हैव रिकॉग्नाइज्ड देयर लैंग्वेज, as one of the classical language to be studied.
My doubt is that India is more liberal about outfits of women and how they should behave, how they should.
India is more liberal. More liberal नहीं, liberal is the wrong word. More Western. ठीक है? तो
Ma'am?
India copies Western more, you can say, and Indian less. ठीक है? तो वो तो Indians have to decide.
Excuse me, ma'am.
तो कल से तुम लोग एक एक खादी भवन जाके, है ना, liberate yourself. That is very important.
Ma'am, US said hijab is bad, but is it hijab is good also? Can't
Iran
we-
is good also. That's what I'm saying.
But
Hijab is good also.
yes, ma'am.
So I'm saying, na, it protects you from sunlight. It protects you from sunlight, but they want to sell their ultraviolet sunlight protection creams. That is also something to do with capitalism.
But ma'am, अगर वो चाहती मतलब if females women don't want to wear it, but
Don't want to wear it, then they will not wear it.
but it leads to rigidity na in Iran.
It leads to what?
Rigidity.
Rigidity.
Yeah.
So it is up to you. You want to protect your culture or not. We will come to these things. Fine. West is not liberal. West is Western. Okay. And if any country is liberal, it has been India. Because liberalism means toleration. Liberalism is pluralism. West is not liberal. They are very orthodox about there. It is for westernization, they use the term liberal. But you can always challenge that that's not liberal. What US does is not liberal. Okay. Was it liberalism and enlightenment and rationalism when US used nuclear weapons? The only country in the world to use nuclear weapons so far. Okay, then they have guts to give lectures to others. Okay, about human rights.
Ma'am,
Okay, so number of people Americans have killed and they talk about human rights, genocide, human right, what not. Yes.
ma'am, is it the confusion between the modernization and westernization which is leading to
The
this all these
confusion
problems?
has been created for Americanization because everybody will not accept the word Americanization. To make it digestible, acceptable, they have coined a neutral word, globalization. Globalization becomes easily acceptable than Americanization. Westernization becomes difficult, so they will say modernization. So modernization you can adopt. You may not adopt westernization. I am talking about politics of language, how we talk, and there is so much politics in the terms that are involved. Because we cannot speak in a very neutral language. Okay? Language of natural science is symbolic. It doesn't have a meaning. Okay? It is having no meaning. Language of natural science, alpha, beta, gamma, has no meaning. But the language of social science has meanings. We cannot utter a word without emotions. Okay? So, freedom, the way we will use our emotions with the word freedom, the meaning will keep on changing. Okay? So, that becomes a challenging task when you study social sciences. Okay? Because suppose J.S. Mill has written about liberty, but what is the sentiment with which he has written? You are not seeing that. Then there is a possibility that you completely misunderstand what he has said. Okay, so that's why studying natural sciences is an easy thing. because they are meaningless. ज्यादा कुछ उसमें दिमाग लगता नहीं है. फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री अपना फॉर्मूला याद किया, 2 कलर के पानी घोल दिए. क्या दिमाग लगने? दिमाग तो लगता है जब आप ये समझें why this incursion has happened now. साइंस में कोई दिमाग लगता है? साइंस इज ऑल अबाउट कैलकुलेशंस एंड मेजरमेंट एंड ऑल. साइंस इज नॉट अ बिग थिंग. Okay, it doesn't require that amount of thinking. So you should feel lucky that you are studying political science. Huh?
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, which terminology is a better? Cultural revitalization or cultural reformation, according to the West?
According to me, revivalism. I should first know my culture, then I speak. They will always say you are casteist, but I don't know what is caste. Fine. Concept of dharma, who knows what is it? No one knows. I should first know. तो हमको परमानेंटली रूटलेस कैसे किया गया, ये जो चीज आज मैंने बताई, ये धीरे 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 आपको बाकी स्कॉलर्स में आती जाएगी और तब जाके पता चलेगा कि वो अच्छा ऐसे रूल किया गया. ठीक है. और लैंग्वेज, पावर ऑफ डिस्कोर्स, क्रिएशन ऑफ नैरेटिव्स. व्हाट इज पॉलिटिक्स? क्रिएशन. वो सब बहुत पुराने तरीके की बातें नहीं करनी है. वो वाले डेफिनेशन तुम्हारे ग्रैंडफादर दिया करते थे.
Ma'am,
पॉलिटिक्स इज स्टडी ऑफ, और पॉलिटिक्स इज अबाउट बिल्डिंग नैरेटिव्स.
ma'am,
तो आप कौन सी लड़ाई हार जाते हैं? वॉर ऑफ नैरेटिव. इस इलेक्शन में कोई नैरेटिव था? नहीं था. इसमें नहीं था. फर्स्ट इलेक्शन में गुड गवर्नेंस मान लो नैरेटिव था. सेकंड इलेक्शन में टेररिज्म और पाकिस्तान और नेशनलिज्म नैरेटिव था. अभी कोई नैरेटिव ही नहीं था. ठीक है. अगर आप नैरेटिव नहीं बना पाएंगे, यानी लैंग्वेज नहीं बना पाएंगे, और you will not be able to make something that let people to think and debate on it. अभी तो कोर चीजें सामने आ गई क्योंकि नैरेटिव नहीं बन पाया. तो कोर चीजें थी एम्प्लॉयमेंट, okay, and these type of things. So very dull elections, because elections were dull, so participation was also less. Okay, so last time credit goes to Pakistan. What timely they did Pulwama, and Indian democracy suddenly got a lot of energy. But this time Pakistan waited, let Modi ji take oath. After that they will do terrorist attack. So this time they did the timing, and that is why there was no excitement as such in that elections, because there was no narrative that could be built. Okay, so what is politics? In building narratives. Don't go with definition of previous years. You build the new definitions, new understanding. Fine. So what else? Nothing. What are you going to revise today? Huh? Western. Fine. So Western hegemony and other things. So yes, any question remaining?
ma'am, in the context of language, can we say that Western language or English language is the most advanced language?
Yes, advanced, because they can advance. If the moment you will talk about Indian, no one will let you. If government will say we should teach Gita, they will not let. There are people who will not let it happen. They are. Yes, and human language is going to become extinct because of AI. And then we will start talking only in symbolic terms. तो आगे आने वाले टाइम में हमारी लैंग्वेज में इमोशंस नहीं होंगे. ठीक है, हम सिंबल्स में बात करेंगे. जैसे व्हाट्सएप में किस पे बात करते हो? तो वो मतलब things are going to change in a big you.